Good afternoon, 8th graders, and welcome to the elective class, The History of Rock and Roll. I'm Mr. Spencer, and this is my 4th year teaching the class. And in this quarterly class, we will begin the study of music that led to the development of rock and roll in the 1950s. So we're going to really get started in the late 1800s, early 1900s with blues music and jazz music and some of the great singers and musicians who laid the foundations for people to later make alterations to their sound and then make rock and roll. We're going to focus on both musicians who played in big bands, singers like Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby. We're also going to be focusing on the 1940s, the big band sounds of swing songs like Benny Goodman Orchestra, as well as others. We'll then move into the phrase rock and roll, which got started by a man named Moondog Alan Freed, a disc jockey from Cleveland. We'll talk about his life story because it was him who introduced African American blues music, which was back then called rhythm and blues, to Caucasian children, Caucasian kids on the radio. And it really brought the races together. Moondog had lots of different types of shows with musicians, and African Americans and whites, they would come together to enjoy the music, and it brought down a lot of the racial barriers that had happened in our country. We're then going to move into the 1960s, where music got really started in Europe, especially in England, with the Beatles, the Who, the Rolling Stones. And then come back to the United States and learn about the Beach Boys, Jimi Hendrix, Jefferson Airplane, and then the great festival called Woodstock, which happened in 1969. We'll move into the 1970s with the formation of disco music and funk music, and and also of the music like punk music that was really against the government and got popular with a lot of kids in the 1970s. The 80s was the MTV age, where MTV got started and popularized with videos of music. And then we'll finish up the quarter with basically talking about the 90s and music of today. It's a project-based class. We'll have projects for each little section of music. We'll basically have maybe 10 to 12 assignments. And basically, there'll be time where you can work together, and there'll be time where you'll be working with yourself. So I look forward to seeing you on Thursday at our allotted time, third period, to begin the history of rock and roll. Have a great day.